Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor, 911truther.org. Today is March 17th of 2026. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears the CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland is going to stage a Defcon-level event in the United States or elsewhere around the world during the live broadcast of the World Baseball Classic finale between the United States and Venezuela in Miami, Florida on the evening of March 17th of 2026, specifically to spawn a second global biological pandemic and or trigger World War III. As evidenced by my book entitled The Nuclear Bible, which was published back on January 28th of 2011, the CIA plans to basically target a live sporting event. In the case of my book, it was a 9/11 style nuclear terror attack targeting Super Bowl XLV in Dallas, Texas back on February 6th of 2011. In this particular case, although there is the distinct possibility that the WBC final in Miami, Florida will be attacked, it's virtually certain that the CIA is going to use the live broadcast of this sporting event, which is likely going to have over 1 billion people watching globally, to stage a DEFCON level event to terrorize humanity during this game. So exactly what type of attack is planned is obviously not known. I'm going to highlight the top 10 or so most likely events slated to transpire on the evening of Tuesday, March 17th, 2026, which would be obviously March 18th, 2026, around the world. Excuse me. So firstly, the CIA is plotting a Chinese National Space Administration Tiangong Space Station based directed energy weapon attack targeting Washington, D.C. Essentially, this is going to be look like a movie. It's going to feature a visible ray of light coming from lower Earth orbit in space, and it's going to absolutely obliterate the city of Washington, D.C. It's going to be a Inception-like event where this energy weapon that was developed by NASA many years ago is going to be used to level Washington, D.C. and assassinate U.S. President Donald J. Trump. China and their Tiangong space station will be blamed for the attack, the tariffs being a timely motive. And this is going to trigger World War III. Number two, the assassination of Donald J. Trump. So this may be a direct assassination, a sniper attack. This may be a medical-related event. This may be an accident or some sort of an attack as the aforementioned death ray attack. Number three, a 9/11 style nuclear terror attack. The CIA is planning to stage one or more 9/11 style attacks on the evening of March 18th or March 17th or March 18th around the world. It's likely going to be CBRN in nature, that's chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear in nature, and it will likely be scapegoated onto Islamic terrorists backed by Iran, such as Al-Qaeda, Hamas, Hezbollah, Muslim Brotherhood, ISIS, Taliban, etc., etc. The CIA is also planning to release a bioweapon targeting one or more March Madness basketball games in the United States on the evening of March 17th, 2026. So the college men's basketball tournament, otherwise known as March Madness, commences in the United States on the evening of March 17th. And if you'll recall that the CIA staged a global lockdown in the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus back on March 17th, targeting a Utah Jazz basketball game. It was during the live broadcast of this game that they stopped the game. So this is what the CIA is planning to do. This impending bio-attack will also be blamed on China, and it will be basically COVID-26. It's basically what they're going for in this particular scenario. Also, given the comments made by Donald J. Trump yesterday regarding Cuba, that it would be his honor to take Cuba, the CIA is planning on staging a Russian invasion of Cuba as pretext for a neo-Cuban missile crisis designed to trigger World War III. Whether this will be a real-world Russian attack or invasion of Cuba is obviously not known, but the CIA, as I've stated many times in these videos, the CIA has a shadow army consisting of roughly 150,000 Ukrainian troops that are going to be wearing Russian uniforms. So it may be a false flag. Also, the CIA is plotting a Chinese invasion of Venezuela during the game, which is between the United States and Venezuela. So basically, because the attack on Iran and the decapitation of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela has limited the ability for China to get oil from those two respective locations, they plan on staging a Chinese takeover of Venezuela as pretext for World War III. Number 7 is an Iranian ICBM missile strike on Israel. So this has been planned since the inception of Israel. It will likely target the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem, which there's likely millions of tons of liquid nitroglycerin, the most explosive compound on Earth, buried beneath that structure. And so the CIA will send a missile in. It will puncture this stockpile, and we will have a nuclear holocaust, if you will. Also, it's highly likely, given the recent activities by Hezbollah and other Islamic terror groups, that the CIA will claim that Iran has activated a sleeper cell. And so an Iranian-backed Hezbollah or Hamas-based attack targeting multiple locations in the United States is expected on the evening of March 17th of 2026. This will also be CBR in nature. If you recall, back on March 11th, the CIA staged an attack targeting a Jewish synagogue outside of Dearborn, Michigan, under the guise of an attack by a Lebanese man whose brother was a Hezbollah commander in Lebanon. And so this is what the CIA is trying to do, is import Muslim terrorism into the United States, and they're trying to basically turn the United States into a Gaza Strip-like scenario. And so some sort of an attack is expected on the evening of March 17th. This may be as simple as a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device, otherwise known as a truck bombing. This could be a full-scale attack or siege targeting the White House or another U.S. Capitol building. It could be targeting Jewish-related entities or Israeli-related entities, or it could also feature an attack targeting Miami, Florida during the live broadcast of this game, possibly even targeting the stadium where the game is being played, which is called Iona Park, if memory serves. There's also the high likelihood that the CIA is going to use a directed energy weapon-related attack targeting Team USA baseball players during the live broadcast of this game. This has been happening with regular occurrence, where basically this weapon, a miniature version of the aforementioned attack in Washington, D.C., is used to basically to give players concussions, to shatter their legs, to basically inflict horrific injuries. And so some sort of an attack targeting American baseball players such as Aaron Judge, Paul Skeens, Cal Raleigh, Bryce Harper, Bobby Witt, Kyle Schwarber is expected, possibly resulting in death, injury, or paralyzation. There's also the high likelihood that the CIA is going to stage some sort of an electromagnetic pulse-related event targeting the United States on the evening of March 17th. With the recent blackout in Cuba and the recent blackout in Ukraine, this attack may be blamed on Russia. It could be a directed energy weapon-related attack, or it could be some sort of electromagnetic pulse-related event, an EMP attack, possibly under the guise of a nuclear explosion, an ICBM-induced nuclear explosion in lower Earth orbit, or it could be blamed on this top-secret directed energy weapon that Russia is allegedly housing in Cuba, which is the effects of which are called Havana syndrome, which previously targeted members of the U.S. consulate and embassy in Cuba. Lastly, According to the latest reports, the USS Gerald R. Ford is a massive United States Navy aircraft carrier that has just left Haifa port and is currently en route across the Mediterranean Sea to the Suda Naval Base in Suda, Crete, which is part of Greece, an island in Greece. And so it's highly likely that this aircraft carrier will be targeted on the evening of March 17th, which would be the date of March 18th in Europe. This Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier will likely sink, and it will likely be the battle cry for World War III. This will likely be executed by the Israeli Army, and it will be a deja vu of the USS Liberty attack, which was executed back on June 8th of 1968, I believe, during which the Israeli Navy and the Israeli Air Force attacked the USS Liberty while sailing in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt. They killed over 100 U.S. soldiers, and so this attack is going to be a false flag, and it may be nuclear in nature, and it will likely be scapegoated onto Iran. Lastly, in closing, I just want to highlight the numerology of March 17th. As with all terror attacks, political assassinations, and acts of war committed by the CIA, they leave their numeric signature as all serial killers do. And the date of March 17th is no different. Firstly, as previously mentioned, the date of March 17th marks the 6-year anniversary of the global lockdown instituted in the aftermath of the COVID-19 outbreak in Wuhan, China, back on December 8th of 2019. March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, is when the entire world went under lockdown, and the number 6 is indicative of the Star of David found on the flag of Israel, 6-pointed star, and so the first Jewish state of Switzerland, which was founded circa August 1st, 1309, is likely going to stage a second event on this particular numerology, this Jewish numerology, to basically take the world to a very dark place, spawning, as I mentioned, a global biological pandemic or triggering World War III. We have to remember that Switzerland is the first Jewish state, and the second Jewish state is called Jewish Autonomous Oblast. It's located in the far east of the Russian Federation, roughly 800 miles north of North Korea, and it was founded on May 7th of 1934. The third Jewish state, otherwise known as the State of Israel, was founded a few years after that on May 14th of 1948, and they used these 3 states to basically control the world. And therefore, it's highly likely that the CIA will, in Switzerland, will order the Israeli Navy to attack the aforementioned USS Gerald R. Ford on this particular numerology. Also, the date of March 17th marks the 77th day of the year. The number 77 is an angle that is found in a triangle. So if you take 2 sevens and you put them together, this is upside down. It forms a triangle that is found on the flag of Israel, the Jewish Star of David. And the number 77 is therefore an esoteric kill number, as evidenced by the 27 Club, 2 sevens, which includes the likes of Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, etc. All these stars, all these musicians, all these actors. The list is literally hundreds of people long that were killed on the 27 numerology. That is also why they staged the London bombings on July 7th, 7/7 of 2005, which was a blood sacrifice to this numerology. Also, this notion is corroborated by the fact that the date of March 17, 317, features the 3-7 numerology, and 3 times 7 is 777, and this is found in the tetragram of Yahweh, which is the highest God in Judaism. And lastly, the date of March 17th, the number 17 equates the letter Q, as in coup d'etat, because the CIA in Switzerland is going to essentially overthrow the global order by staging a Defcon-Level event on this particular numerology. So, in closing, CI is going to stage one or more Defcon-level events on the evening of March 17th, most likely during the live broadcasting of the World Baseball Classic finale between Venezuela and the United States. It is predictably going to be CBRN in nature, chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear nature. It's going to be used to spawn a second global biological pandemic and or trigger World War III, and it will likely feature the assassination of U.S. President Donald J. Trump. What's imperative to note here also is that in the event that the CIA stages some sort of DEFCON level event, it's virtually certain that the CIA will assassinate Trump under the guise of a bad news inflicted heart attack. And that is why when he was assassinated, they took off a piece of his ear, because this is designed to foreshadow that Trump will hear the news of a nuclear event, a biological outbreak, an act of war, or some sort of terror-related event, and then he will immediately suffer a heart attack. And that is why they have gone out of their way to spawn the narrative that Trump is unhealthy and that he has a bad diet and that he is going to suffer some sort of heart attack or related event, and that is likely going to transpire after hearing bad news about some sort of an attack or a terror event or pandemic. So if this comes to fruition in reality, if the CIA stages any sort of DEFCON level events, earth-changing events, or watershed moments in time designed to basically trigger martial law and or World War III, or spawn a second global biological pandemic, I would kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, state, and federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, national, and international media outlets.